Cunt.
Starting off strong.
Yep.
In a hazy room
Story time.
on the casting couch.
Story time. Story time.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever this podcast may find you. It is I, your host, Gavin.
I, your co-host, Justin.
That black kid, Andrew.
There's also another story about why are you named TBK?
Because somebody decided to call me that one day and it stuck.
Was it Pat?
It was Pat.
It was definitely Pat.
It was definitely
That's
Pat.
a Pat thing to do.
Or was it Pat?
It wasn't me.
TBK. It was Pat.
It wasn't Michelet.
It definitely wasn't Michelet.
Because she was also the other black kid.
Yeah. Yeah, so TBK.
Anyways, yeah, that's...
Had a lot of nicknames. That's probably the best one.
Probably. Well, so... Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you're getting over that hump, or you're about to get over the hump.
You should be on the downhill slide now.
You're on that hump. Moving forward.
What?
Just get it all the way in your mouth.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody please help me. Anyways,
Moving on.
Justin, how's the business?
Business is slowing down a little bit, but there's a couple good things that happened today. Although it cost an arm, a leg, and a dick. My website's live.
Cost your dick?
Was it your dick?
No.
Someone else's dick?
No. I had to go dick forging to, I had to
Explain
find
yourself.
a wild dick and
So
a wild dick.
A wild Richard.
A wild Richard, yes.
his name was Chad.
What a Chad.
What a Chad.
Chad was a
Anyways,
Richard.
so website's
or Richard
up.
was a Chad, either one.
So your official Chaos Theory website is live.
Yes, it is live. It's chaostheoryutah.com.
Cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's all going. It's the first jump, the first legitimate advertising expense that I've had. So,
What can we expect on the website? What are we looking at?
you're looking at a computer screen.
That'll
do it.
Or a phone.
Or a phone. Yeah.
It's got a little bit of everything right now. I had it built instead of doing a template, just because it was a little nicer. But it's effectively it's a homepage. It's got an Instagram feed from my Instagram. It has good explanations of basically every bit of my services, as well as starting prices, with an asterisk next to it that's say this is a starting price. That was one of the things I had to very explicitly make sure was included in there, because people get triggered.
I'm sure they do.
Because I show up and their pile of shit with 4 gallons of milk spilled in it, and they're thinking it's going to be like $80, and I'm like, honey,
sweetie pie. No.
my little pumpkin. I'm
My
sorry.
little pumpkin.
I don't. Your card be $80 an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
Fuck.
but yeah, it's all functioning. It's got descriptions of all my services, ways to contact me, all the normal shit you find on a website.
Sure.
It's pretty simple right now, but it'll kind of grow with time. That's the other advantage I wanted to do, is with using these guys that I'm using, which shout out to my buddy Spencer Halford, who I went to high school with, and his company Halford Social Pros. They're the ones that built it for me. It's basically like I'm subscribing, because they do everything. They do maintenance, security, they'll do SEO, hosting, and making sure it stays at the top of Google. And on top of that, if I ever need to add something to it, I just send it to them and they do it, and it's up and running that day. And
yo, dog, I need this thing to happen.
Yeah,
I want
so
to add onto it.
So basically, I paid them a set price to build it, and then now it's a monthly fee, basically a service fee.
Okay.
So that basically anytime I need anything changed or added, I just send it to them and it's done.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Nice.
Good
So,
stuff.
yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. It's a big first step. It makes it feel official. Second step is we're still looking, but I'm hoping to have by the end of this month a shop.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Yee.
Getting spicy.
It's all money.
It's only money.
It's only money that's bleeding out my ass right now. It's all good. Just gonna put a cork in it and just wait for it to explode.
Later on, you can try to just shove it back up there once you're in the money.
Yes. Shove the blood back.
Funny side note on
there.
April Fool's.
The disgusting, yet approving look on Andrew's face.
Yeah.
Funny story. I actually had a friend that was having bowel problems on April Fool's, and a different friend bought him a legit cork.
Wow.
Legend.
Oh yeah.
That's a Chad move.
Legend.
Oh yeah.
That's a fucking Chad move.
Shout out to all the Chads out there.
Oh, they're all the Chads. They're great. Anyways, so moving on. That's what's going on with Chaos Theory right now. It's going great.
Awesome.
Good shit.
But I found something interesting earlier today that I really wanted to kind of touch on. It was piggybacked off of a post of a gentleman's Porsche Speedster that got stolen out in Malibu this week. It was Monterey. My bad. Basically, it was his dad's dream car. And somebody had just stolen it at the car meet, just straight up somehow fucking walked into it and just driven off with it. It's not that hard with older cars.
Yeah.
You really can, even if they're fully restored, just fucking wire them with 3 wires and you're good to go. So, as I was scrolling through the comments, there was this story, which was actually even more interesting because it's like, okay, that happens. People's cars get stolen. It's out in broad daylight. There's not a top on it. There's a lot of and you're at a car meet, if you just look like you know what you're doing and just kind of walk in, and him and his dad are out probably checking out other cars. It's not that hard. This one intrigued me, though. So this is a story from about 5 years ago. Guy responds. His name's Charles. He's like, I've been there, I've done that with the car being stolen. I know the pain. I had an 83 SC Cabriolet that was, quote, surgically extracted from my property in Leipzig, Germany. So he's saying he's 90 minutes east of the Poland and Czech Republic border. So he's 90 minutes to the east border of those two countries. The police report filed after all was said and done said there was no way that this could have been accomplished with anything less than 5 people.
Jeez.
4 people working on it and a transport driver.
Jeez.
So, they methodically disassembled 2 sections of our security fence on the property. They're cast iron sections with,
Were they cut?
with Loctite fittings. No, they were just disassembled.
Wow.
They electronically read our security system access to the garage and then rolled the 911 out into the breach in the fence. So, and he responded to one comment saying that we were on vacation at the time and they fooled even the house security system. So it didn't trigger any alarms and it also didn't trigger the cameras.
Jeez.
Wow.
So
This is before like live streaming your garage or anything, before the Ring systems.
Yep, and so he said they then realized that a 90-year-old oak tree prevented them from pushing the car down to and through the fence because he says we lived on about a half acre, and it would have been a little bit of a walk down a hill, not in the driveway obviously. They'd be pushing it just on the grass to get there. So they excavated another 2 meters of fence with post and concrete.
Wow.
What?
They then pushed the 911 400 meters to an access road that ran along the back of the property along the river. The car was then loaded into a container truck and gone.
What?
And he just says, if they want it, they will get it. Police were stunned with all the time and effort put into the scenario. And although nobody has first-hand accounts, they were sure that this was a well-planned enough scenario that they had all of this done in under an hour.
Jesus.
And he said, good luck with your recovery efforts. All the best.
Wow.
So does insurance step in and say to write him a check?
Mm-hmm. He says insurance did pay out on it after, obviously they do due
I mean,
diligence.
there's the homeowner's insurance too that he has to, repair all that shit.
Mm-hmm. And so he did that as well. But yeah, and that's why he said the police report literally says surgically extracted.
I mean, that's some Nicolas Cage Gone in 60 Seconds shit right there.
Oh my god.
Mixed with Ocean's 11.
So you think about this. So you have, it's basically so here's house and driveway, and they basically pulled it out of the garage and went down grass on this side, just straight for the fence.
This is great for an audio-only podcast. Mm-hmm. This is fantastic.
I know. I'm just demoing for you guys.
Sure.
So, they pull it out of the garage, turn to the right, and just go down this hill till they reach his fence, and that's the fence that they took apart on just the back left edge of his property.
Sure.
And, if you think about that, you've got, probably 3 guys going there, probably just using hand tools to be quiet, quickly just boom, 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 boom.
This is in the middle of the night?
He didn't say, actually.
I feel like it kind of have to be.
I'm assuming it would
Can't
be.
do that shit in broad daylight.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it would be. So, just yank all that shit off, yank 2 sections of fence out with their concrete posts. Because, they're bolted together at top, but they're still concreted into the ground.
Yeah.
So you still have to dig them out.
It's foundation.
Jeez.
Foundation for a fence.
And then just fucking get like 3 of you and yeet that shit out of the ground.
Yeet that mother.
And then realize you have to yeet another 2 sections after you get the car down the damn hill.
Oh my gosh.
But, and then just fucking throw it in a container and off
Sounds
you
like
go.
Grand Theft Auto with extra steps.
Pretty much.
So I don't know if if I missed it at the beginning or this was just a 911. Right?
911 SC, so yeah.
I mean, the SC was that generation between 78 and 84.
Okay, so but
it's an air-cooled car. Air-cooled cars have...
air-cooled 911.
They've gone up in value, but they're battling... what year was this? Did this
He said
happen?
about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Air cooled, but here's the thing.
They were valuable 5 years ago.
But here's the thing. It's a 911, a fairly standard 911 in
but
Germany. So,
Germany, it's also a cab.
Yep.
There aren't a lot of those that I've seen.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, that's probably 50 grand.
Yeah, so it's a mildly worthwhile car.
Yeah.
It's no crazy,
a one-of-one crazy something or other.
But,
Or
it's
a 964 turbo, RS, whatever.
Worth the effort, I guess.
Depending on who
I
it's
mean-
for.
Yeah.
I mean,
what-
fuck, if you get 50 grand, I think that's worth the effort.
Yeah, 50 grand for that thing for.
Then depending if it's like really low miles, then it's even more.
Yep.
Yeah. Jeez.
To the right person, that could in theory be worth between 40 and 60.
Damn. That
So-
is.
It's like some
yeah.
Italian job level shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
kinda.
that's what I tell people. Obviously, it's different with this, but it's what I tell people when they, either I'm talking about it, we're talking about it, or they ask what should I do to protect my motorcycle? And I'm just like, dude, if they want it enough, they will
fucking get
lift it up and put it on a truck.
Right.
Because a heavy motorcycle like a crotch rocket is 400 pounds. You could get
Harleys are 700.
Yeah.
So no one's stealing a Harley. Let's be
No,
real.
but I'm using that as an extreme,
yeah,
right?
as an extreme,
For
700
numbers.
pounds. You can get that's 7 guys. That's 100 pounds a person. You could lift that up and just move it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could lock the handlebars. You can You can lock the wheel. You can put it in a safe. You can do whatever. If somebody wants it bad enough, no security system is gonna keep it safe.
No.
Oh, no. There's a reason that people have barbed wire fence around shit. I mean, let's see. Fuck, people go in and steal semis and shit when they haven't ever driven one. If they want it.
That's crazy.
If they want it, they will fucking try to get it.
Jeez.
It doesn't matter.
Jeez.
There was one where a couple months ago, actually, a bike disappeared out of my garage. Somehow.
Like a pedal bike?
Yeah.
Huh.
But it was a $1,000 pedal bike. It was a
Sure.
very fancy
Yeah.
BMX.
Yeah.
That belonged to one of the people that I rent to. And we had no clue how it had happened. Well, what had happened is somehow in between the time of I had moved it out of the garage to do a couple things in the garage, and it was only out for about an hour. And as I went to go finish everything up for the day and put it back in, it was gone.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, and my neighborhood's very safe. That was actually very rare for that
That's
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So my guess is it turned up the next day down the street. My guess is it was probably one of the kids
Okay.
just doing something stupid. But people look for crimes of opportunity. I'd say the best theft prevention, speaking to your guy, the truth is that if they want it, they will get it. However, most crimes people that are going to commit a crime are generally pretty lazy. They want to spend as little time as possible, understandably so. Mm-hmm. And so, for instance, the best way to prevent, in a shop situation, when I worked at a shop, my tools from getting stolen is lock the toolbox. That prevents 80 to 90% of issues.
Sure.
The last 10% is going to be the people that, I'll still fucking take it anyways.
Just take the box.
Exactly. That's the thing, is you get to those extremes where, you have people that practically do this for a living.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And are pretty goddamn methodical about it.
You were talking about a bike that was stolen.
Yeah.
I had a K2 mountain bike
Yeah.
that was stolen twice.
What? Hold up.
Yes. So the first time I was at Utah State, back in, this is still in 2011. I was living at what was known as the Living Learning Center. It was it sounds like another fucking school, but it's just a collection of dorms.
Gotcha.
Really, a dorm complex, as it were. There was like 5 different buildings or whatever, and they had its own little alleyway that like went or courtyard rather, that went like in between each building, and it was on top of this parking terrace that overlooked all of Cache Valley. It was a beautiful, like a really nice place to live.
Yeah.
Pretty safe on college campus in Logan, Utah. Right? What could possibly go wrong? So there's a locked up bike room at the ground level, basically next to the front door of each of the buildings. Also, there was a bike rack in front of that lock room. And so I had my bike on the rack, because why would I have to lock up my bike in Logan, Utah on a college campus? And so, and this is back when I was smoking cigarettes and being dumb. And I was on the courtyard overlooking just overlooking Logan. It was at night. The city lights were out, and I was just having my cigarette, whatever. And due to the nature of the rusty chain on my bike, it would have a little click, 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 click. And
Oh boy.
so I heard it from, this is probably, I don't know, like 110 yards, 100 yards or so. And I turn around and I see someone like starting to ride my bike. I'm like, that's my bike.
It's like, well, hold up.
That's no one else's bike. That's definitely mine. And I am not on it, so something's happening.
This is a problem.
And so I turn around and I not barked like a dog, but I just barked. The dude was like, "Hey!" And he turned and dropped the bike and just ran. Into the night he went.
Oh my god.
And I go walk over, and there it is, my bike on the ground. I'm like, neato, I'm going to get this in the walk room now.
Yeah.
That's definitely changing. So that's in 2011. Fast forward to, it would have been 2017? I think it was 2017. I was living at the Taylorsville house, actually.
Oh, yeah?
This is going to make you feel real nice and safe.
Yeah. So safe.
So I was living in this house that was like a split level house. So you walk in the front door and it's like a half set of stairs up to the living room and a half set of stairs down to a lower level, which had 2 bedrooms, like a washing room, like for laundry and shit, and like a bathroom. And then the garage was to the left of the rest of the house. And with the garage, there is the garage door, and there's another, single person, conventional door
Yeah.
on the backside. And for some reason, that door on the backside wasn't locked. And so, all of this happened without anyone knowing, and we kind of woke up the next morning to all of this. Someone had broken in to the backside of the garage through that door, and there's a door that goes from the garage internally into this bedroom, which is where a friend of mine who owned the house was sleeping at like 2, 3 in the morning, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they broke in, stole his phone, and stole his wallet.
What?
Under his nose while he was
What?
sleeping. Yes.
Wow.
I can't make this up. And so they
No.
also my bike is hanging on a single wheel, like on a hook. And with cars in the garage.
Yeah.
Still. 2 cars, it's a 2-car garage. And like some other, lawnmower and bikes and other stuff. And they take my bike,
Oh my gosh.
and they go clink, 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 clink out of there, and they realize, wow, this thing's a hunk of shit, and they just ditch it in the fucking neighbor's yard, like front yard.
Oh my god. Jeez.
My bike was such a piece of shit. It got stolen twice and dumped and abandoned.
Dumped.
Just like me. And and
Feels bad, man.
and it was actually so bad that when I moved out of that house into my current apartment, I didn't even take it with me. I was like, you know what?
Just leave it. Just
I'll let the boys have it if they really, really want it.
I don't need this. I don't want it.
I have a car.
Peace.
Deuces.
Deuces. Be out.
I actually just remembered another story where I was on the sort of on the thieving end of it. So this is not a story that's going to.
Did you happen to be in Logan at about 10:30 at night at some time in 2011?
See, I would have been a junior or sophomore.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Okay. Did you happen to be in Taylorsville?
Actually, yes, that actually happened when I knew you.
So Justin.
Your bike's a pile of shit. By the way, your boy was broke too. I didn't get anything in the wallet.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Probably not right. Probably not wrong.
Oh my gosh.
So, you've heard me talk on this podcast before about my Audi S6, my wagon, and how in the end of 2016, I hit a deer, wrecked it, and ended up buying a parts car to rebuild it. So when I went to pick up the parts car, I noticed that it had one wheel that was obviously the spare, and it was full size, but it was different than the rest. It had 3 TSWs and 1 factory Audi wheel.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, that's kind of fucking weird. So I ask him, where's the other wheel? Oh, it's at my brother's house. I used to live there, and we don't get along anymore. So it's just, it's just at his house. I blew this tire and I had to change over to a different one.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Can we get it back? Nope, I'm not going to talk to him. Okay. Is there any way I can get the wheel? He's like, well, I'll give you the address and you can just, you can do with it what you please. So I was like, okay, well, give me some details. Like, is the guy going to fucking shoot me? Is the wheel somewhere where
Is the wheel on another car?
Yeah, is like, what is it? He's like, when I left it on the back of the house and everything, it's just like kind of around the corner. It's like, okay. So he gives me the address and I waited like 2 weeks. I bought the car, brought it back up to my house, and waited about 2 weeks before I did anything with it. And pulled up the address in Google Maps, looked at it. It's an older house actually just north of here on 600 North.
Oh, so Rose Park.
Yeah.
Okay, that's accurate.
Well, Rose Park, but this side of the bridge on the east side. So
like really, just like
really
right
here,
like in Marmalade District.
And ironically, this is also the same place where, actually around the corner from this, when I was searching out this incident, is where I found Nick's black sub for sale that we then eventually bought and everything. Anyway, so I went over there and I looked it up on Google Maps. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any fence. I drove by it once, just randomly while I was down here. Okay, I'm going to do this. So a few nights later, I came back at about 3 a.m., dressed in all black, parked just like down around the corner.
That's a super trustworthy scenario of someone being dressed all black at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's great. So I ran through.
No crimes to be found here.
Mm-hmm. Zero.
I ran through and basically was just kind of slowly creeping up, scouting the house to make sure. I didn't really give a shit about a camera, but mainly making sure there's no lights that are going to pop on or shit like that.
Okay.
To immediately alert anybody. There's still no fence. I'm kind of like, I don't even fucking know if this wheel's here. Like, this is what the guy told me, that this was like 6 months ago that he changed this wheel. And apparently was just leaning on the back of the house. I fucking go around the corner. I'm like, look, and keep in mind, it's black. I'm not turning on a damn flashlight. And I see this glint on the back left corner of the house.
Oh my gosh.
And there's the wheel.
Wow.
Oh,
Sitting
my
right
gosh.
there. I fucking, at that point, I was like, oh fuck. I just run. At that point, I'm like, I don't give a shit if anybody hears me. I run, grab it, hoist it up, run out in front of the house, throw it in the back of the back of the Stinger, and drive away.
Of the Stinger?
No, it wasn't the Stinger. It was, at that time, no, it was the Saab.
It had to have been the
It was the Saab.
That because the Stinger is a whole lot more recent than that.
Yeah,
I was like,
so this
when
was
was
the,
this?
No.
Oh my god.
It was
That's
the
funny.
Saab. So I threw it in the back of the Saab and just fucking peeled out and went down. I was like, whew. I repossessed property that's kind of mine, kind of not.
That's sort of mine.
That should be
mostly.
mine.
Yep.
Yeah, it
That's
was
really fucking
supposed
funny.
to be included with my property, but was not because apparently family quarrels can't be gotten over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Then again, fast forward to just 6 months ago when I had my Tacoma, and the story comes weirdly full circle, completely unexpectedly, where I'm Ubering and I pick up a bunch of guys from a bar. We're driving home, and I remember where I picked up that car was on 5600 West in Salt Lake. So we're driving down, and I realize, this is oddly close to where I bought that car. And then we pull into the same fucking house.
Whoa. Whoa.
Okay, so then I start talking with him, like, hang on, I bought a car from here about 2 years ago. It was an S6 that had a blown engine. And he's like, oh, that was my son. And I was like, wait, does your other son live up in like 600 North in Salt Lake? He's like, oh yeah, that was my other son. They were living together for a while and they hate each other now.
Oh my god.
And I was like, no fucking way.
That's hilarious.
Like,
That's amazing.
this weird full circle moment where this dude, and ironically, honestly, all the family is kind of deadbeat status. Like, you could tell the dad has been through shit in a hell in a handbasket, and they're all, I mean, kind of the type of people that, you know, you're not going to associate with unless you're with their crowd. I mean, they're mostly into the really hardcore music scene. You could tell that they've all been through some shit.
Kind of abrasive individuals,
Yeah.
as it were.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, to give you an example, the guy that I picked the car up from, I mean, I think he went through a whole pack of cigarettes while I was loading the car. Just
Well then,
Dude, that's a fucking accomplishment.
Chuck it.
right
that
there.
is honestly impressive. Like,
chucking them. No, I was seriously impressed too. I was like, because when he took a drag, it was a solid like 10 seconds of just, and like half the cigarette was gone.
Yeah.
jeez.
Wow.
Fuck all for lungs, man. He's
Yeah,
that
dude.
guy's body is a lung at this point.
Yeah, jeez.
And you know, and like it's the combination of everything. Not any one of these would be like that much of a throw, but like he's doing that, tatted head to toe, massive gauges, talks kind of like a little bit of a shithead. You know, like once you start to like put together all these puzzle pieces, you're like, oh, I realize now why you bought this car, because it was cheap, thinking you were hot shit, blew the engine because you didn't maintain it and changed the timing belt,
Right.
and absolutely fucking destroyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up being your gain anyway, so.
Oh, I profited 3 times over on that car because I bought it for $1,000, sold the engine and drivetrain to Matt for $800, sold the interior for $1,000, got all the parts I needed for nothing more than $1,000, and then even recently I still sold the 2 doors just a couple months ago that I still had laying around.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And the shell of that car is still owned by a friend of mine who's probably going to turn it into a trailer, just like the
just the back.
just the
Yeah.
outer shell.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
It's still in Salt Lake, just down the road, but.
That's awesome.
And then I sold the shell for like $500 too, and then the wheels for like $200. But anyways,
That's fucking
yeah,
funny.
weird
That's
full
awesome.
circle story of like how me buying a parts car to repair mine ended up me repossessing / stealing a wheel from somebody's house and then giving an Uber ride to the dad of
Years
both of
later.
the brothers.
Yeah.
Years later.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I completely forgot about that until we just started talking about that, and I was like, wait a minute.
Jeez.
Hold the goddamn phone.
Ugh.
On the topic of stealing things.
I mean, I didn't know what we were going to talk about for a Wednesday episode, but I think we found it.
Yeah, or having things be stolen or attempt to be stolen.
Well, yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing is that shit gets stolen, and there's just no way around it. And it's actually, with all the new cars, with all the key fobs and everything, it's been a hot button issue on and off because people have code readers that
yeah,
can.
you can just hack into a car these days.
Yeah, because there's no key.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, no key. There's no physical key.
It's just
Right.
it's a device to give the car a specific code that
Right.
it needs to start. Mm-hmm. Doesn't need a key. It just needs some ones and zeros, and it'll whoop, go right over.
Yep.
Which is it's crazy.
It's kind of scary. You kind of end up wondering, like, yeah, it may be not physically hackable because, you know, if a key barrel's worn out enough, it's very easy to go up and jerry rig it and just fucking pop it open. I did it all the time at Package Runner with trucks, you know. But with something like that, yeah, you have to have the knowledge of how to do it. But if you have that, you have the fucking world.
Oh yeah. Or, I mean, some people, you don't even need to have the knowledge of doing it. There's devices that can just, it's like a router, it just amplifies the key's signal. So you can just like walk up to a house where the key is inside and it will just boost it.
Mm-hmm.
And car's unlocked, you can start it, drive off.
Yep.
So
Because
it
once
happened
they're
to
started, here's the other thing, is that by regulation, they will not
can't
shut
turn
off. Once they're started,
They keep running.
you can drive it indefinitely until you turn it off.
Until you turn it off, and then you have a problem.
That is off.
Yeah.
But I also found, speaking of that, so say you do that and steal the car. Ironically, it's not that hard to acquire a key for almost
new
any
key
car.
for a car. Yep.
And what I mean by that is,
You're
a
telling
lot
me
of-
this now, after the BMW?
Yeah.
Well,
we just have to.
Well, so here's the irony of that. I was surprised when they were like that because most
For the listeners at home, we did get we're trying to get in contact with the nearby BMW dealership, and they were not having it.
Yeah, well, they basically just said we have to order it from Germany, which is like, okay, whatever.
not doing that.
But if you're able to get the physical key, it's not hard to get it reprogrammed. If you can easily bullshit your way through that. I've done that so many times getting keys for cars. Most dealers don't do any kind of checks or anything because a lot of them don't have you in their system.
Do you have like this other pass that I don't know about?
I know a lot of interesting things because I've helped a lot of people with interesting things.
That's a hell of a response.
I've had to find my way.
So on that bombshell, thanks for listening to the Expedition to Speed podcast.
Justin's now been extradited out of the country.
Yeah.
You don't hear from Justin again.
Well,
I don't think we're legally allowed to say at this point.
I don't know.
you can read between the lines on this one.
Yep.
But on Friday are we gonna play the Turo Hunt game?
Turo hunt? I'm down for a Turo hunt.
I'm down for a Turo hunt.
Let's do a Turo hunt.
Rad. Okay, cool. We will talk to you all on Friday. And if you want to find us on our social medias, our Facebook and our Instagram have kind of been dead, but if you want to go look us up, it's Expedition to Speed.
We still appreciate the like.
We do. I need to find someone to do that stuff for me. Just take care of it. I'll create the content, you just put it out there.
I know a guy.
You know a guy?
I know a guy.
Shit.
Yep.
Is he sitting right in front of us?
No.
Okay.
Different guy. He does this
Well,
stuff.
you actually know another person?
Is this someone I have to
actually know a
pay?
guy. Probably.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't want to pay, then yeah, I know a guy.
Because sadly, none of us in this room are
I
rich.
know a guy.
I know a guy.
I know a guy that knows a guy.
I know a guy who knows a guy has a dog. Good dog. No guy.
I got a guy.
Got a guy.
Cool. Until next time, I've been Gavin.
I've been Justin.
I'm TBK.
Hey, and this has been the Expedition Speed Podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Deuces.